In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to improve your bench press through your training. I made a previous video talking about how to improve it with proper form. I would advise that you watch that first. I'll put a link in the video so you can see it. Um, there were a few things I forgot to cover in that video, so I'll also be making a blog post about it, and I'll also put a link to that. Um, but now for improving your bench press with your training, I'm going to start out talking about the muscles that you want to make sure you're working. Most people know the basic muscles like your chest, shoulders, and triceps, but another muscle that most people don't know plays a big role in the bench press is your lats. Um, Most people think that the lats are just a pulling muscle, but they actually help with the initial push off your chest for maybe like the first inch of the push. Then other muscles take over. So one thing you want to make sure you're doing is improving the strength in your lats. Also, building up your lats will also help when you're arching your back. It'll bring your chest higher, so you don't have to bring the bar down as far. Um, Now, another muscle that most people don't think about, or it's actually a group of muscles, is the rotator cuffs. Um, in the bench press, they act as stabilizer muscles. So it's important to strengthen your rotator cuffs, one to help you stabilize the weight, but also to prevent injuries to them. Um, that's one issue when people do the Smith machine bench press. You're not stabilizing the weight, so your rotator cuffs aren't getting any stronger. So if you are going to use the Smith machine bench to get stronger, I would advise the especially then you train your rotator cuffs directly, and also I would recommend that you do some dumbbell bench pressing in addition to also work your stabilizer muscles. Now, for the chest, shoulders, and tris, the basic muscles that most people know about, the triceps help mostly with the end of the push. The chest helps more at the beginning, and the shoulders kind of help throughout. Um, Now, if you're benching with a bench shirt, then the bench shirt helps with the initial push where it comes down to your muscles finishing it out. So if you're going to be competing in powerlifting with a benching shirt, then you want to make sure that you really strengthen your triceps, um, your delts as well. But the triceps would be the most important muscle for you. But you also want to make sure you're strengthening all the muscles involved. So you do want to strengthen your chest as well. Um, Now you can do that either by just benching. When you bench, the muscles involved will get stronger, or you can also do assistance exercises. Um, there's different ways of doing it, and depending on what program you're using, you can do it many different ways. I'm not trying to give you a one size fits all program to follow. I'm just trying to give you principles to adapt into your training. Um, Now, when it comes to sets and reps, um, you you want to do both low reps and high reps. Um, you, Low reps, obviously, with heavier weight, and the higher reps with lower weight. Um, the lower reps are gonna train your nervous system, so your body becomes more efficient at moving the weight. When you train in the higher reps, you're gonna elicit more hypertrophy in your muscles, where they'll fill up with more blood, and like it'll bring more nutrients into your muscles, which will help in getting them stronger. Now, you can either train the bench press with both high and low reps, or you could train the bench press with low reps and assistance exercises with high reps, or you may not even need to really train the bench press, but train the muscles involved. That's West Side Barbell's method. They with any of the main three lifts, they're more worried about training the muscles involved rather than the lifts themselves. So there's different ways you can do that. Now, when it comes to the frequency, how often you want to train, um, this really depends on different factors. When I was in high school, I trained the bench 3 times a week. Um, People may think that might be overtraining. There's two types of overtraining. You can overtrain your nervous system, where your nervous system can't recover and it's going to make you weaker. You do this by training with heavy weights, doing real low reps. You can also overtrain your muscles, where your muscles don't have enough time to recover. This you would do more with higher volume and like frequent training. Um, as long as you have about a day or two in between workouts, you probably don't have to worry about overtraining your muscles from the muscle standpoint. But if you're training with real heavy weights, then you might have to train less often. Um, when I train, I do higher reps and lower reps, so I can train pretty often. And plus, I'm young. That's another thing to take into account. Someone that's 50 years old isn't going to be able to train as often as someone who's like 18 or 20. Um, and it also comes down to genetics as well. So how often you train, um, you kind of have to figure that out for yourself. Another issue is some people will do what they call speed days and max effort days. Um, this is where like one day you're gonna be pushing real heavy weight. Another day you're gonna be using lighter weight, but just trying to push it as fast as possible. If you're using this method, then that'll affect how often you can train. Um, a good example to follow with that is the workouts that West Side Barbell uses. Um, they That's what all their lifters do. They have a max effort day and then a speed or dynamic effort day. Another thing to take into account is deloading. Some lifters like to like go hard for a few weeks and then take a week off, or just take the week to train the muscles with lighter weight. Um, I don't like to deload, but depending how your program is set up, that might work for you. Um, but what I would advise is that you just take all of these things I talked about and try to apply them into your program and experiment, figure out what works. If you don't really know enough about training to make your own program and apply these things, then I would advise that you take a proven program like Westside Barbells or the Strong Lifts 5x5. Just take a program that's proven and use that for yourself. Um, Another thing is if you're a beginner, most of the stuff that I just talked about, I wouldn't worry about. I would well, one thing, work about using real good form, but also what I would do is just start out with the barbell by itself, and I would do 5 sets of 5, and every workout just add 5 pounds, and you you can do this for, well, definitely your first year, maybe up to 3 years, uh, where you'll have what some people like to call newbie gains, where you'll just be able to keep adding weight real quickly. Um, Now, once you get to a certain point, these gains aren't going to keep coming as quickly, and that's when I would start applying the stuff I talked about in this video. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the topic. Stay tuned for more videos.